3 goals in the last 2 games. Can you just talk about what scoring does for confidence? I mean, you've been playing well, doing a lot of other things, but seeing the back of the net or getting the puck in the back of the net, what does that do for your confidence?
Yeah, it just adds more confidence. I think it shows that I can do it and I can produce. So just for myself, it adds a lot, and I'm just looking to build off these 2 games here.
When you weren't scoring, how is it? How do you just keep making sure that you're feeling confident? I guess that you're doing a lot of the right things and just kind of keep at it.
Yeah, I just have a lot of trust in my game, and to do the right thing. I think there's a lot of reassurance from the coaching staff and my teammates that you're doing the right things. Is just getting some bad bounces. So I'm just looking to build off the couple goals and move forward.
I think, last week when we talked to you, you mentioned that WHL and then last year in the American Hockey League you had stretches as well where you weren't scoring as much as you wanted. Did that kind of help you this year in terms of just having gone through that in different leagues, not scoring for a while, and then all of a sudden you found your way and started producing?
Yeah, for sure. I think it can be discouraging early in the year when you're not seeing the results. But having gone through it last year and then obviously a few years ago in Winnipeg, just sticking with it, and I think I have a good mentality to do that, and not shy away from my game and just keep doing the right things, and eventually they'll go in.
Being able to kill penalties and have that as a base in your game, how valuable is that for a young player coming into the league?
Yeah, it's a big part of my game. I think that's a big part of solidifying a role on this team, and making sure you're getting your minutes every night. I think that's a big part of it. So continuing to be effective on the PK will be big for me.
Veterans trust from the coach too, right? The rookies who don't score a lot of goals, don't get a lot of leash, but if the coach feels good about putting you out there on a PK or you're sharp defensively, you get ice.
Yeah, it's a big part of it. Earning the trust of our coaching staff, all our coaches, and them having faith that I'm going to go out there and do the right job. And I'm just building that relationship still. So it's been really good so far, and I'm just looking to build it even more.
What's it been like playing in the NHL in your hometown? Had 2-3 months here playing for the Oilers. What's it been like?
Yeah, it's been surreal. Lots of family, lots of friends at each and every game, and even time off. I haven't really been around Edmonton in 5 or 6 years, so it's a lot different. But it's nice to be home, obviously, and get to see everyone that I grew up with, and just be around the community.
I know you're kind of more new to it, but we're talking a lot about this team turning a corner. What feels different right now than maybe it did a couple of weeks ago for this team?
Yeah, I think the confidence didn't really waver in this room, so I think it's not that much of a different feeling. I think it's a little bit more loose. Guys are more confident, more comfortable in the way that they're playing, and I think that just gels into everyone else feeling good about themselves.
So right out of the box, this team had one of the toughest travel schedules we've ever seen. What was that like for you as a new guy?
Yeah, it was definitely a grind. Lots of the guys were saying, there's not many road trips that are like this, especially to start the season. And we kind of had 2 back-to-back there at the start. So it was a grind, but it was a lot of fun. I think, getting on the road and being able to go out for dinners with guys and just build those relationships with new teammates, it was definitely big for a young guy early.
Is the needle going up energy-wise now that you've been home for a little bit and had some practice time and some rest time?
Yeah, for sure. The practices are huge. I think early in the year we weren't practicing much. It was lots of play, travel the next day, play, have a day off, play. So to get more into the flow of things into the season, it's been good the last week or so, and just looking to build off this.
You've had stretches where you played with Connor and now Leon. What's it like? How much different is it playing with guys that are that good?
Yeah, it's an adjustment for sure. It's a privilege to play with guys at that level that can make a difference each time they're out there, and they affect the game in a way that I've never played with a player that affects it. They possess it, they affect it in all 3 zones, and they're such threats that the other teams key on them so much. So just continuing to learn to play with them and get more comfortable in that role.
Is it a big adjustment playing with those guys as opposed to other guys?
I think, from the way I grew up playing, I think that's kind of the way I want to play and the way I've grown up playing. So just kind of getting back to that and reading off those guys, having little give and goes, I think is a big part of my game.